Is it going now?
Yes.
All right, it is 7 o'clock. We're going to kick off the October 25th Almont DDA meeting. If we could start off with the roll call.
Mr. Booth present.
Schneider present.
Holly Miller present.
Andy Rose present.
Melissa Shader present. Tricia Feldman present.
And additions, deletions to the agenda. We were just discussing that. We need to add under new business number 4, snowflakes for the holiday. Anything else? Okay. We had a couple of communications. Do you want to go over those? Do you want me to discuss them?
You can if you would like,
All right.
or I can.
Either or.
I'll let you do the honor.
All right. So the first one was first communication. We got a FOIA request from a local resident regarding a couple things to do with Heritage Festival. And Angela did get that back to them, but my understanding they still haven't paid or picked it up, right?
Correct.
Okay. So those were the 4 items in question.
What's in our packet is not what's provided to, what's supposedly being provided to the requester.
You talking about all the
The other
responses?
attachment, that's not a response to the FOIA, correct?
No.
No,
Okay, I
No.
want to make sure that.
no.
Because this, whatever the response is going to be just very specifically to each of the items that were requested.
Correct.
Just spot on and nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah. Angela did that, but they still have not picked them up or anything.
Okay.
And then the second one was for the MDOT application.
Yep, just for holiday parade.
Yes, for holiday parade. And it's got all the same stuff that we've applied before. This one we've done year after year after year, but just so everybody can see, that's what we got.
Is that approved?
It's approved.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought it was just there's so much. I'm like, I just want to ask and make sure. Does that mean it's really approved? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, the benefit is after you get one approved, as long
Right,
as there's no
I know.
hiccups, it's pretty much a done deal. All right. Any public comments on an agenda item? No. Can we get an approval of the consent agenda?
So move.
I'll second.
All right. Any further questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving forward. We're going to need a approval of minutes September 27th. But you know, I just noticed we also have September 6th in here. Do we need approvals on both?
I believe there were just revisions.
Revisions?
there. I wasn't at the last meeting, but I think that were they just revisions?
Yeah, it was revisions for,
My name? Is that the one with my name?
no.
Well, even with revisions, you need approval, don't you?
Correct. So we're going to need, approval minutes, we're going to need it for the September 27th. And then we're going to need an approval, which isn't showing on here, for September the 6th.
I have a brief comment with regard to the minutes for September 27 meeting.
Yes.
So there's been a long time policy in the village that anonymous, unsigned, unidentified communications are not put into the public record, are not
Okay.
submitted as part of the packet, because this becomes a public record and it's not to be. And a good example of why that's wise is the county press, for God knows how many years it has had sound off. And for most of those years, the person had to identify him or herself. And maybe 20 years ago or so, they made it anonymous. And of course, then the sound offs became more vitriolic and smear-worthy, and the point where they really became objectionable. So the county press said, we're not going to do that anymore because that's not good for the public. If you have something to say, identify yourself. So the village adopted the same approach and developed a policy a number of years ago that you don't put anonymous communications into the record. So that leads me to request a modification under public comments. Letter to village manager, village council, fine. Email from a resident. It's actually an anonymous former resident.
So just as long as we're notating that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just put it into the minutes because that's what it is. It is not a resident. The person clearly does not identify him, her, whoever the hell it is, appears to know me well. Look what Schneider did. Yeah, and clearly identifies it as a non-resident,
Okay.
not somebody who lives here.
Okay.
Did it one time. So if we could make it anonymous, non-resident, former resident,
Sure.
is how the person identifies himself. That's the one other question that I have. I noticed this in these minutes and in the minutes for September 6th. And it made me curious. So in attendance for the September 27 meeting, there were 6 of us. Maybe I was very silent that evening. I don't know. So all the votes are 5-0. Even though there were 6 of us. And there was something similar in the September 6th meeting where there were 4 members present and all the votes were 3-0. And I was very curious, how did you come up with that?
Because Andy's not voting.
Andy is a voting member of the board. You're entitled to vote.
Well, I am, but when it comes to making motions, I don't do it unless I'm breaking a tie. You can't make the motions, correct. Somebody else has to make the motions. But when it comes to the vote, to approve or not approve, you're a regular vote. You're a regular aye or nay, or you, for whatever reason, you could abstain. But you're a regular voting member. You just can't make motions. I thought I couldn't even vote on it either
Oh,
unless
yeah.
it's a tiebreaker.
No.
Oh.
No.
Well, I mean, if not, I would obviously voice my opinion
Well,
other way.
You should.
Yeah.
Is what I'm
So
saying.
if that's the case, then yeah, I have no problem voting for those.
Okay, yeah, something was going on. I was curious as to what that was. Now, you are a regular voting member.
Yeah, because generally I don't comment on those. I mean, unless I have a strong stance against it, I don't.
Yeah, and, well, even,
And I've
even
had
as
I've had to for majority reasons, but if we have majority, I have not.
well, if there's an issue before us, you're also entitled to comment on it. Your voice, opinion matters. That's
I
why
do.
you're chairperson.
I do. I think I comment probably
Yeah,
more than people
yeah,
want to hear
so
me.
I wanted to open that door because
Yeah.
it's there. So
That's fine.
walk through it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have with regard to minutes.
I do have some corrections that need to be made. Bills payable, we added an invoice for Village Shirt for $536. That was not added to the minutes.
That was last time,
Yep, on the September 27th.
536.
Yep.
I mentioned it up here, but I didn't add the amount.
Okay.
Yeah, that it would have to be in that total.
And then under new business, item 2, it is not noted who made or supported the motion. I only know because I made the motion.
Okay, got
All
it.
right. All right, so we have a correction with 3 different items then on that September 27th. Do we still make a motion to approve with the corrections? Do we have to come back with it?
You can make a motion to approve
Okay.
with the amendments as discussed on the record.
I think there's one other thing for the discussion part, the Heritage Festival, the 5K. I think I was the one who made a motion to increase the amount from $910 to $1,000 for the fire department. Should we add that as a motion was made?
Yes.
Okay.
Normally I go to YouTube and it wasn't posted.
All right, so get that added then. All right, so we'll need a motion if everybody else is good with that. Conditional on the update to minutes.
Move to approve, contingent upon the modifications as discussed on the record.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, that passes. We're going to need approval on the corrected minutes now for September 6th.
Do we need one if last time we made a motion to approve the minutes with the corrections?
I think we have to accept it now that the
We have to
corrections are
accept
done,
it.
yes.
I will make a motion to accept the September 6, 2023 minutes.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, that passes. All right, moving to approval of bills payable.
Question on the water bill, was there another leak? I thought that was fixed. There was not another leak. It had to be drained and refilled because the nozzles were clogged with leaves.
And wasn't it drained and refilled twice?
Yes.
Yeah, it was 2 times even, so, yeah.
And I have a question on the church, the DTE bills. Those seem like they came pretty close together. Is that just a normal billing cycle or was there some
No,
issue?
it's because it's dependent on when they send them to me.
And that's what I was just looking at. We did not have one on our last agenda
Yeah.
to
Okay.
approve.
You didn't,
Okay.
yeah, you didn't approve one last
Yeah,
month.
that's
and
why.
Oh,
so
okay.
They sent them both to me, pretty close to each other.
Okay.
Also, I'm assuming Landscape Direct just never sent us their,
Yes, that's the,
or do they traditionally bill us at the end of the season then? Because I don't
I'm
know.
unsure on that.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter. I
I
was
can look
just,
back, but that is the opening and closing. That's all of it.
okay.
Yeah, in the past, they would get us it after they did
Because
it. I think
The
they
the
just.
bill is
messed up.
dated 5/31.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Should we change that approval of bills payable where it says 9/26/23? That was the date we received it. Should we reflect that it was a 5/31 date?
That might have been when they invoiced it. That was not when I received it.
I know that's when
So
you
I don't
received
know
it.
what,
Do we want to reflect that though? Does that matter?
Record is better you protected.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if it ever comes up, why we approve that bill and if we're searching for it. You know what I mean?
so you want to change the date to 5/31?
No, or just next to Landscape Direct, just put bill from 5/31 or invoice from 5/31.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills payable in the amount of $6,032.12.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I
All right.
abstain. Sorry, I abstain.
Okay. Just make sure that's recorded. Treasurer's report, September's revenue and expenditures. We're going to need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to approve September's revenue and expenditure report.
Support that.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, that's approved. We're gonna need a motion on B, September check disbursement. And again, still no issues at all with village and all the process, right? Good.
Kim's the best.
She's perfect.
I'm like, I send her questions. I'm like, you don't need to do this right away. 20 minutes later, there's my answer. I'm like, I was serious. I'm not in a rush. Like,
Kelly texted me and she's like, make sure Kim knows I'm not in a rush to get this. I'm like, she's
Like,
already doing it.
I'm like I don't
right
want, it doesn't need to be done before our meeting. Like, we're good. No, it's done.
She's
No.
incredible.
She's excellent.
Was straight 7 music.
Was that the first
That was
thing?
the sound.
That was Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, that was Sunset Boulevard. You're right. Any other questions? I can't make the motion.
I have one question. Why is the payroll from 9/7 looks like it's double what is on 9/21? Is that just 2 checks were dispersed at, like, combined into one? I'm assuming you get paid bi-weekly, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And it's not just Angela either. It's DPW.
Oh, okay,
it's
that's
the
why.
police.
Okay, that's why.
Sorry,
It's
all the
not just
full-time
Angela.
wages are.
That's-
for-
Yes.
That's why, okay.
Yes, they all go in because it's through the village. It all, they're all in place.
Okay. Well, in that case, I will make the motion to approve the September check disbursement.
I will support that motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, perfect. Let's go to reports, director's report.
First, this is not in there, but Smathers Masonry will be out once the fountain is closed. I reached out to landscape director to find out their date that they have us on the calendar, and they are still scheduling. So as soon as I know that, Smathers will be out to fix that. And I guess we're going to talk about the fountain cover in a minute. We have Merchant Trick or Treat coming up. The skeleton contest is being voted on. Last Jeep night was great last night. It was perfect weather.
Hold on.
Okay.
At Jeep Night last night, 2 of the regular
Oh, yeah.
ladies, 2 of our regulars, came up and said, "We have an idea." And we're like, "Yeah, what?" They're like, "We think the last Jeep Night of the year should be a trunk or treat too." And Angela and I were like, "Heck yeah, I don't see why we couldn't or wouldn't." And it would get more people out, especially if it was great weather like it was Tuesday. It was so nice out. So I think for 2024, we'll plan to have a trunk or treat on the last Jeep Night. And
And
it
it's-
works out good
yeah, it
because
works
it's
out perfect
almost a whole
date-wise.
week before.
It's over a week because it's the
Yeah.
22nd.
Yeah.
It'll be perfect.
This was the last Jeep night for the year, right? So we're done Jeep night, we're done with cruise night. Okay. Now we can just
Yes, we
focus
are.
on
Holiday.
holiday.
Holiday, yeah.
So I thought, just want to make sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, you guys can read through it. I don't know that there's anything.
What is the chili crawl?
That's something that the events committee has been brainstorming to do in January or February.
Okay.
Explain, because it was your idea.
Yes.
And you could explain it better.
Wow. It needs to be developed, but just maybe the merchants have different chilies. The restaurants get involved, and we would have plastic mugs printed up. And I believe back in the day we purchased that from Birchville. So with that fee, you get your mug and then you just go around and you taste the chilies and.
Okay. Like do it on a weekend of some sort?
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
I mean,
I'd
it's
take a
something to
pot
do
of
in the
chili.
winter. Yeah.
I think it's
For
fun.
Steve, do you know, is the ice rink going to be open this year or who knows?
It's going to be open.
The ice rink in town.
I'm not sure.
I don't think we're planning on opening it.
Oh, that's right. I forget you're on there. Sorry.
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't know if it would coordinate with some of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we haven't made plans to open it. I think there's discussion of where to put it. And we were trying to, I think, looking at what we had burnt, it hasn't been coordinated very well, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll just do chili. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
And then did you get contacted potentially about a fitness challenge for New Year's?
did.
Okay.
From
Right.
Nicole, I did.
Yes.
But I
Okay.
still have to get the details from her.
Okay.
One thing that isn't on here is I spoke with Victor yesterday, who owns the Huddle. Senior Victor. I'm really gonna try hard not to call it the Huddle, but I'm not sure that I ever will not be able to. I'm meeting with him at his Oxford restaurant on November 7th. He's super excited. He plans to be open December 1st, just in time for holiday. So, and then
Tell everyone what he said, what you told me.
so he said that, and he might say this to everybody, so I don't know. Out of the 12 restaurants he owns, he's never been more excited about one, except his original location, than he has about Elmont, because he's excited about the potential, and it reminds him a lot of Oxford when he first opened his restaurant there. And he's just really excited to open and become part of the community. So
Awesome.
I'm excited. And then Brunch at Joe's is supposed to open on Monday. Soft open. And I'm unsure if that is still a solid date. I'll send out an email once I get in touch with them. They were waiting for a lot of stock to come in. So
They want a ribbon cutting or
they not on.
not then, but they do want one
Yes.
at some point? Okay.
Yes.
And
And
our,
then Mikey's does as well.
okay.
And do we have a date on that or?
He threw out a couple of potential Saturdays to me in November, but he told me there's things that need to be firmed up first,
Right.
and then he will give me a date.
Cool.
And then are we free to talk about the other business that closed? The theater?
I don't know if we are or not. I mean, it's switched
Free to talk about the theater?
owners.
Closing?
I think we can say that.
Can we talk about the theater closing?
Oh, sure.
Are we allowed to?
Yeah, it happened. They closed last Tuesday. We've already met with the property manager for the purchaser. So yeah, she came with her son as her kind of working partner. It was a little bit surprising from the standpoint of the gentleman who essentially is the entrepreneur for all of his dozens and dozens of businesses. He had been through the building, and so he knew the condition that the medical building was in and that the theater building was in. And then when the property manager came out, she was in utter shock. She had no clue. So the only part of the medical building that's not leaking is my office. And the rest is like, not so great. Yeah, it's leaking very badly. And then the theater building is just, Stephen took her through that building, just filled with mold. So hazmat suits type of thing. And God knows that that's probably gonna cost 50, 60,000 at least. So she wasn't aware of that, but the plans are going forward, and so it's a positive. You know, what I had heard earlier was, he had planned to put in like $1.5 million into the two buildings, and as far as renovating them. And 'cause the medical building is flat roof, which is almost always bad news, and tends to change that, maybe put a second story on, but not leave a flat roof, because I think I spent 30 grand just doing the roof above my office. So it's going forward. It's happening, and that will end up making a big difference for the east side of Main
Huge.
Street. That's the good news.
Absolutely.
So it actually is the accompli because there had been numerous occasions and different potential buyers, and the seller kept blowing the deals up. And so grateful that it actually happened.
Did they give any start date of construction at all? No, just
You know,
curious.
Pam Fox is the name of the manager, and she's just trying to get a handle on it at this point. Get her arms wrapped around it, and she goes, oh my gosh, thanks a lot. But she's very experienced and nice person to deal with, and we hope everything will be amicable so we can survive there. Business is business too.
Right.
So, you know, so I mean, I think I have 3 years left on my lease there. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, I think that's the last vacant structures we have, right? No? What's the other one?
American Legion.
Oh, true. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then, I mean, it'd be nice if something happened with that parking lot where that laundromat used to be. You know, that's, I know with the previous owner, in terms of when he was envisioning the development of the two buildings, he wanted to extend out and purchase that lot also, so it didn't far out. And Nick Labdus, the name of the big guy, I think has some visions similar to that.
Good.
So we'll see. I mean, in the long run, it's going to be very beneficial.
And the American Legion was posted for sale, so more to come. A lot of good stuff changing hands. So,
Chicky have something to do with a.
Huh?
She's
Chicky
Yes.
selling
owns it, and
She still owns it.
she's
She's
selling
listed
now.
it.
Okay, but she's trying to sell.
Mhm.
yep.
Okay.
So more
Space
things to
Over
change
Roots is
hands.
Still open too.
Yeah, Space Over Roots.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about that place.
It's never been.
You say brunch at Joe's opening
Monday.
The third.
Soft opening, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on to new business under finance. Number one is the fountain cover. Do you want to kind of go over the background of that one again?
Yeah, so
Hmm?
our, what?
No, go ahead.
Oh,
No,
our
you go.
fountain cover is old and falling apart and very, very heavy. And DPW has asked me since, I believe, my very first day, if I could figure out an alternative solution. And so Brian and I have been brainstorming, and I called Legacy, and Brian and I and Legacy brainstormed together. And they came up with this design. However, it is very expensive. It's an aluminum fountain cover, so it'll be light but also protective. But obviously the quote's in there and it's steep.
What about PVC?
So we could PVC and shrink wrap, which was our kind of, I think, our brainstorm here.
I don't think we can justify
But
spending that much money on
if
fountain
it's
cover.
PVC and shrink wrap, just, we will have to
Weight
secure it
it.
somehow, so it would
Mhm.
have
We
to
could
be
probably
like,
weight it down with sandbags.
Yeah.
Attached to the PVC.
It is pricey. It's 60.
Almost 63. Is that what it was? I don't remember.
63.
Yeah, 6257.
The hard part is, we just pumped in
A lot into the fountain.
3,000 into the fountain. In relative, it's not that costly though. But if we could think of an alternative to make that's quite a bit more efficient, I just don't know, will PVC hold up? I mean, Schedule 40 maybe.
Right.
See at all.
I don't either. It was just the thought in my head.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad thought, 2-inch, 3-inch Schedule 40, that could get made, but we would probably need somebody who's
But also, who's going to make it?
correct.
Is that something DPW can or is willing to do? I don't know. No,
I'm not saying they're
Oh,
not willing.
okay.
They might be willing.
I mean.
So the cover we have now works, it's just
Yeah,
heavy.
it's heavy. Well,
Well, it's dangerous. It's got sharp edges because it's covered in
works-ish.
sheet metal.
Right.
It's,
but I mean,
and
I
it
could-
looks
I could ask
super
them very
ghetto.
nicely to put that back on and they would do it.
Right, they would.
So it's not a rush. They would just prefer to not.
Right, and it looks god awful.
So the hard part is no matter what, we're gonna have sharp edges. I mean, if this thing's built out of aluminum, we're running into the same.
No,
Well, it
no.
would be wrapped.
The current fountain cover has metal nailed. It's wood, and then it has
Yeah, it's metal roofing.
right, but it's all like peeled back and stuff. This is just gonna be solid sheets of aluminum, all
And welded?
welded.
Holy Lord. I wonder why it's $6,000.
I mean, I'm sure they'll make it look beautiful, but
So was this just a structure or is it sheeted as well then and we wouldn't have to get it?
yeah, we wouldn't have to do.
So this is sheeted.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that justifies the price a little bit better
Correct.
in my mind.
Yeah, because that's gonna be large sheets of,
Did they say how heavy that would be though? I mean, I know it's aluminum, but still, that's
he
big.
did not tell me how heavy it would be, but he picked up the wood one, or he said it would be significantly lighter than that.
they move that now with what, a high-low? Backhoe? Okay. And it looks like here, center eyelet, so it looks like that's how that would get picked up from now on in the middle. Looking at the design.
It changes my opinion now that I realize it's sheeted in metal too.
I'm almost inclined to go ahead with this quote and this. If it's gonna be nice, it sounds like it's gonna
Right,
last
and
us
it'll
a while.
last.
We're not gonna have to worry about people running into sharp, jagged edges anymore. Hopefully PVC, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but how sustainable is that? How much money are we have to put into that? And we're definitely not gonna get it in time for this year. And
They get this built by then?
That's what I was gonna say. I don't think.
Their lead time was 4 weeks, but I think I can tell them we need it ASAP. and-
Right, because when do we need to close the fountain?
so I'd like to give the business to somebody in our.
Oh, absolutely
Yeah, oh, yeah.
agreed.
And they've
And they
been
do a ton
huge,
for us.
yeah. I think, when do they close the bathrooms down at the park?
I think we're doing it right after maybe spooky time.
Okay,
The
so
bash,
first,
maybe.
second week in November.
Yeah, they're being worked on right now though, so we're,
As long as it's shut down, they should be fine with that.
I
But we got
can
to get the masonry work done first.
also almost promise that if the DPW would be just fine with putting the old one on if they knew a new one was coming. So if they had to put it on and take it off, it would be annoying, but. It's not listening to us. It's not signing.
Well,
anything.
knowing that that's sheeted in
Yeah,
all
I didn't realize.
aluminum, that obviously, that justifies that cost a lot more. I thought
Right.
that was just for the
The frame.
framing.
Yeah,
And
so-
we had to get it shrink wrapped or something.
Right.
But we have nothing to compare this to either.
Right.
So I don't know if this is a good quote or if it's just too expensive. Nobody else could quote it, was willing to?
I I sent it, the dimensions and pictures to the, I don't recall the name, it's in Emily City, and they have not gotten me in. I can definitely reach out to them, but I can't send them this, legacy design this. So
Right.
I can send them a picture of what I need, but I can't send them what was designed by someone else.
Absolutely.
Further reach it and just tell Brian that we're still working on it. We're going to need to cover one more year, but
But no, there's no one else in town that could
yeah,
make it
not to do those.
an Alma business. I can,
My questions would be, I know significantly lighter, but it is still, even though it's aluminum, there's a lot of aluminum there.
yeah, it's a lot. I know.
I guess my question is, he should be able to get an idea off of between, because that's 1/8 aluminum. That's light, but it's not that light. And then I don't know what he's doing. Like, are there cross sections, or is he just cutting it and it's self-supporting by these pieces? You know what I mean? Like, are they working that in such a way where they're just cutting the pieces, welding it together, and that it's self-supporting, so there's not a frame to it?
I believe that's correct, but I can ask that question.
I would, by the size of this, I think we should get a weight first, and then compare that weight to truly what we're dealing with now. And if it's not saving it that much, then you know what I mean. It might not justify the cost in that regard.
Never really paid attention to other fountains and to know what they cover them with in the winter, how they winterize them. So
Yeah, I don't. It's an expensive fountain.
Mhm.
Yes, it is.
It's expensive every year. Upkeep, water. It's expensive.
Steve, remember when I talked about turning into a planter box? I thought I was going to get lynched.
Be cheaper.
It would be cheaper.
Yeah,
Alright.
sure would.
And I think at that time we spent $3,800 on a bunch of repairs that had to do with that soap issue.
Yes.
Ruined the pump, ruined a bunch of stuff. It's an expensive
Yeah.
piece of artwork.
Sounds like the consensus is we want more information and
Unless someone's making a motion,
potentially
we
an
gotta
additional
table it.
quote.
All right, get some weights. Maybe reach out to your DDA friends and see if they deal with a fountain issue.
It has a fountain.
And this is a fairly expensive item,
Right.
and how flush are we? I
I know.
I'm looking at bank balances going,
That's not our
Really?
bank balance.
No.
okay.
Our
That's
funds are pooled with the village now. That is just our tri-county account that we never closed.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the funds for it.
Okay.
That's not where we're sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Don't
no,
worry.
no,
We going
no.
broke or?
No.
He's like,
Steve-
I'm not sure if we know how this works, but
Right.
Steve, it's Halloween. We're sending you out begging, buddy.
Yeah, I'll get my bucket.
All right. Yeah, let's get some more details. I think for what they put together, the cost is justified. I just don't know if it,
oh yeah.
It's
I absolutely
justified to
think
what we
it's
do.
justified. It is a good amount.
yeah, especially with all that being all out of 1/8-inch aluminum. All right, let's go to item number 2, American Tree Christmas season quote. And she provided, and thank you for doing that. That's always helpful, having
Yeah.
the last quote to compare it to.
I did reach out to American Sprinkler and they are willing to give us a quote, but they're still working on it. And I reached out to a couple of other places, smaller places, and they said they could do parts of it, but they couldn't do everything that American Tree does for us. So we could, I guess, hire multiple people that can do certain things where others can't. I don't.
I've always been of a mind that American Tree tends to be somewhat expensive. However, looking back over the years, usually we could not find another vendor who could do the work that American Tree does as comprehensively as they do. And my impression of the work that they've done over the years is they're good at it.
Yeah.
They do a good job. So I don't know that there are any other options.
And I wouldn't recommend piecemealing it. Try to coordinate multiple people doing X, Y, and Z. That would be difficult.
And I mean, and obviously experience counts, and
Mhm.
they have plenty of experience in taking care of us, taking care of the downtown at Christmas time. They do a good job. Basically good people and also
So
part of our community. There's that.
we're paying to rent these lights? Why don't we get the lights at the end of the year? If we're paying for them. And I've never seen lights be priced at that either. That seems, I mean, I have my Christmas lights and that seems a little pricey for lights and the labor. For the labor for the lamppost.
The lights have always been very pricey.
Yeah, I think the justification for that is if no different than everything, we own it, and then all of a sudden they're not working or something happens, and now we're paying for them to. It's like Christmas vacation, right? They're digging through lights and what works, what doesn't work. So I think every year, at least since I've been on this, we've always done it in this fashion.
Yeah, okay.
And then it also goes into storing them and make sure the whole deal. But that was always the rationale why before, just so you know.
So they typically would go out if some of the lights would not work, especially if the wiring was such that if one light out, the whole wire went out. I mean, every light on the wire went out.
So if one of them goes out, then they'll just replace it and then we're not charged for it? Or we get billed for that too?
I don't recall that. I think they just came out and took care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't recall where they'd say, "Hey, your lights are out. Here's another bill."
Okay.
I think that was part of it. And maybe you could clarify that with her. But I believe that's what it was before. Yeah, most of it is labor. I mean, if you look at the cost of materials, it's relatively cheap. But most of it's in the labor for the lamppost in the pocket park and for the tree.
How many lampposts do they actually do?
We give, how many light poles do we have now?
Well, it's got to be 12 because lampposts, they do 7 or 12 of the 70 clears. So that's got to be, 12.
Did you talk to her about starting earlier, getting everything up earlier this year, like we talked about for Small Business Saturday?
I talked to her today, and she asked me at a rep meeting. She said knee replacement surgery, so she said she preferred not to be here, and I said no. I'll let you know what happens tomorrow. But she said they were gonna do all of the fall takedown and cleaning this.
So they could do it earlier if we wanted them to, like we talked about. This might just be me. Well, it's a two-part. If we're going with them, in the pocket park, can we request that they put more lights on the trees in the pocket park so they don't look so, I don't know what word to use, sparse?
Mhm.
Yeah. And then I just really don't like blue lights. I'm sorry. That just might be a personal thing on my part. I don't know if anyone else has an opinion, but I would like to see a different color light if anyone else is on board with that. Red, green, or just more clear lights. I don't care, but I don't like blue lights.
Like color.
I could take that over blue lights. I could take that over blue lights for sure. Any day of the week. I don't understand why blue lights, but it's just me. Can we get more lights? If we're going to be paying this much money to put lights up, I would like more lights and for it to look more full on the trees in the pocket park.
Then just, if you approve this, just make the notation that you're,
I also kind of want to wait for American Sprinklers quote though too at the same time. If they said they could do it all, they're capable.
they said they would, they said they would get me a quote. I don't know that they can do the garland, but they said they would look at it and get me their response. But we don't have another meeting until I can call and speak directly to them and tell them I need it immediately if we want to approve a dollar amount, and I don't know. But I also need to know what color lights you want if you don't want blue, so that I can make that note.
That's why I'm asking
What color
if
lights
anyone
everyone
else has
wants?
an opinion.
All white? Okay.
Opinion? White? I'd be fine with that. You want multicolored, Andy? Steve, what's your opinion?
Oh, I always believe in variety is the spice of life.
Yeah. Melissa?
White is fine with me.
Okay. Well, you guys are overruled. Sorry. White wins.
This quote is for 15 light strings for Pocket Park already. But, so we wouldn't know how many need to be added.
Right. Well, in her quote says, this is my best guess on what will be needed. If I use less or more, we'll bill according to materials used. So it does change, and just like they're billed throughout the year for the maintenance that changes too.
Right.
It's fine.
I think labor's going to probably stay the same. I mean, they're going to be stringing them there already. And remember, this labor is to put up to take down, so it's for both parts.
I think they've been reliable, and everything looks great every time they do it. That's my opinion on how they've been.
I would make a motion to approve with changes, white lights instead of blue in the pocket park and more lights. I want the trees to look really full.
Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
I
Aye. Opposed? We'll get some more lights. All right. Number 3, small business Saturday budget. You want to go over, who wants to tackle that one?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Go ahead. That's fine.
So the events committee met and discussed a small business Saturday concept of like a punch card, stamp card. We'll have an amount of stamps needed to enter that you need to get between Friday and Saturday to put your card into a drawing. So really, we just need a budget for the gift basket or whatever we're making for the prize for that drawing.
This was the stamps, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And each business would have their own stamp, I'm assuming.
So we have holiday themed stamps in the storage container, so we were just gonna
Okay.
use those.
So we wouldn't have,
Repurpose.
I was just trying to figure, will we have costs associated with that?
Printing
No, I mean, I'm
the-
gonna
Just
buy,
print
I'll
it,
buy
but not-
cards to print, and that's like, I don't know, I think I found 1,000 for $40 or maybe less than that. So I'll just print and make copies and fold and tear all day and then distribute.
Okay.
So like no meaningful costs, I guess.
What was the budget last year?
I think we did 150. I feel like that's what my budget was when I put it together.
Well, with what you talked through, what do you think for this year?
I would recommend 200 only because had Randazzo's not gifted their item to the basket, it wouldn't have been as good.
Okay.
So I would say I would recommend 200. Rephrase that. I'll make a motion for oh wait, am I allowed to? Because I'm on the committee. Can I
Yeah,
make it?
you're not.
Okay, I'll make a motion for a $200 budget for the gift basket for Small Business Saturday giveaway.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye. Opposed? All right, 200 it is. All right, we added another one on there, which was a continuation of new business from last time on our snowflakes.
Snowflakes. So Legacy was going to cut us snowflakes for poles, and then we were gonna rope light them. However, the whole goal was to get them lighter, and the lightest option is gonna be a disc with a snowflake cut out. Their idea is to kind of put them together and lights in the middle. It is not probably what we would like to see. And they are still equally as heavy, if not heavier. If they only make the cutout of the snowflake, they said it's gonna have to be so thick that it will most definitely be heavier than what we have now. So the idea potentially is that we cut all of the lights off the old ones, sandblast them and powder coat them and restring LED rope lights.
But aren't they too heavy? I thought that was part of the issue.
They are heavy. They will do for a season.
What if we just scrap the snowflake idea and then just garland and light every post?
I love the snowflakes.
I think that what we would be paying for the garland, if we have to pay for
Yeah, I
it
was gonna
every
say we
year,
could just-
then it would just,
Right. Then we might as well buy the $800
snowflakes.
really fancy,
Yeah.
nice new snowflakes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
and
But I
plus
also
the
can't
plus labor,
justify
yeah.
The $800 snowflake.
The fun part is that we all get to do this, so
Team
there's no labor
building.
costs.
Yeah.
So we can just.
So what are we doing? Are we stripping them? What do we?
So we would need to strip the lights off, like you said Shane would do for us.
Like you
And
said your son
then
would do.
we need to sandblast them. I don't know if any one of us has that capability. And then we need to have them, I would prefer to have them powder coated. It would last longer in my opinion, but we need to get a cost on that. And I think that would be our next step, is to get a cost on powder coating. And I don't know if the powder coating shop does sandblasting too. I don't know.
Most do.
Okay. So
If they do what?
Most.
sandblasting as well, if they would sandblast and then powder coat for us.
Didn't say he had a guy.
QC coatings. Pulse.
Good idea.
Yeah, and he might be, instead of powder coating, I mean,
Right.
automotive painted, that would be
Right.
just as strong.
Yeah. What the heck was that?
Um,
Oh my
Yes.
Don't worry, it landed on the front of your desk. It's not going to get you.
See it?
It's okay.
So what we're looking for is to move forward with that idea. Is that what the motion is? Or is that what the motion would be?
Motion to get, well, I get at this point, again, we won't have a meeting until the end of November almost. So we need some kind of motion to make something happen. Yeah.
Set a budget.
So how many snowflakes was there total?
16.
16. But we don't know what powder
You could
coat.
just go by it's gonna be way over budget, but you could just go by the $400 one that we had before, right?
Were there 400 each or 800 each?
Well, the cheapest
The very
ones
cheap ones were.
were like 400.
I'm not gonna have that into it.
No way sandblasting, painting, and rope lighting is gonna be. Well, I've never had anything sandblasted, so I guess that's an ignorant statement to make, but I can't
I don't know what
imagine.
it's going to cost.
It's been forever. I had some I had some blasted and powder coated. It cost me like $125. It was an exhaust. So, but that was years ago.
Right, yeah, we haven't had anything done in a while.
The good part with those is on that with their hangers, they can do that in one shoot. So that's,
exactly.
it's really not that big of an issue. I mean, we're probably $600-700 total between blasting and the other would be my guess,
Lights.
plus the lights.
2,000.
You could do it,
Just in case.
you could do it not to
Just to be
exceed.
just to have some.
How much is that per, what do we, well, yeah, that's significant. Significantly less per unit.
I would ask, I can ask Ed Tech. I know they
That's a good
have,
idea. Yep. I
they
forgot.
have sandblasting capabilities, correct?
Yeah, at 16, that's 187 per. I don't think we'd have 187 to each one, especially if they can blast it. If it's ed tech, can they paint it? I mean, I know you like powder coating, but
Yeah, let's talk to them, let's talk to Paul's, and let's talk to the other
Yeah.
place and figure out what's best.
Any
for us.
other child labor that could rope light them. I'm just kidding.
Right, I
Yeah.
think that's gonna be on us, so.
but I think, I mean, powder coating is great, but it does chip relatively easy and it's cold out. If it's something that we have to paint,
We can always
you know,
touch
we could, I mean, we could paint it and then they get beat up after a couple of years. We just
it, right,
shoot them again.
Yeah.
It might be a cheaper way to go.
okay.
Just my 2 cents with it, just because powder coating's nice, but that is the limitation to it. It chips pretty easy.
I will make a motion to redo the existing snowflakes, not to exceed $3,000.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Opposed? All right, that passes. All right, well, I guess we'll start stripping snowflakes.
Do we want to make set a date to get together? Or we just.
I think it's
gonna
just gonna be dependent on how quick
Right.
Yeah.
we can get
Okay.
it done, and time is of the essence, obviously.
Okay,
I
so we'll
mean-
just wait to hear back from you. We
I-
need to-
And I can get them
Together.
cut off
Uh-huh.
quick.
Okay.
Football's done for them, so,
Change to work tomorrow.
yeah. All right. All right, let's go to now discussion on a skeleton decorating contest, which you touched upon in your,
Pictures are up on Facebook and people are liking them. So I'll make a post before merchant trick or treat about who won.
okay. That was just for bragging. That was bragging rights, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Merchant trick or treat,
It's at 5:00 on Halloween.
and I've already seen the ads out on that.
The DDA is gonna have a table, so if anyone wants to help Angela pass out,
So when I said this, my kids aren't, well, they trick or treat, but they don't want me around. They're too old for me.
Yeah.
I have no problem manning the table so you could be out with your kids, because your kids are younger.
But I mean, we'll be downtown anyways.
I know,
It is what
but
it is.
I have no problem.
I have to be mindful of table, so
Well, I know, but,
I can't help, otherwise I would, because I love Halloween, so it don't matter.
no, I know, but I think that in fairness, I mean, it's
I mean, if
one
you're
night a
offering,
year.
I'll take you up on it. I
Right.
won't.
Yeah, so I'll man the table. Are we passing out candy?
I'm
So
gonna. Go ahead.
we have a bunch of Halloween crafts in
Okay.
the storage unit, so we're going to pull those out and use those.
Okay,
Get rid of them first.
so you don't think we need any,
I don't think we do. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Have you planned your costume yet?
Yeah, you must be dressed up.
ooh,
You.
I hate Halloween. It's my least favorite holiday. I'll have a smile on. Does that help?
All right.
I'm gonna have to talk to Tammy.
It starts at 5.
Good luck.
Yes.
Goes till what?
Till regular trick or treat starts
Yeah.
at 6.
At
Yes.
6?
Yeah, so we're only out there for an hour. Yeah. All right. Holiday parade. We met before this meeting. I thought it was a good discussion. We're already making some changes with the event. We're going to stage the participants at the high school. That way we've got more room. We're trying to remember the number. I think last year we had 35 or 36. Hopefully it'll grow a little bit further this year, but Centennial got to be too clogged up. Looking at making it a little bit more of a bigger of a day instead of just the parade. You're going to get some on Village Council shut down East St. Clair at noon. And we'll have a cornhole tournament. Lions Club offered to run the tournament for us. That'll be starting at 1 to like 3:34, depending on timing. And then that's perfect time to get into the rest of it. And then we're also working on some other events for the day.
The most exciting news of all.
Oh, yes, the most exciting news
Hey,
of all.
no, don't
It's at,
steal it.
oh, no. I was going to say it's at the end of the packet, and then you could
The
do your
Almont
honors.
DDA is now a proud owner of a Budweiser sleigh. Where did we get that? David Trent found it on auction for me last night and asked me if I wanted him to bid on it. And well, first he said, "Hey, do you own a sleigh?" And I said, "By golly, I don't." So we're gonna rebrand it and have it in Fountain Park for the Christmas season for like photo ops. Once
Sounds like
DPW
it's-
brings it back to us.
Sounds like it barely fits in the back of a pickup for width and size, so it should be enough for people to sit in it.
Mm-hmm.
Excited to see it.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
You did
to
get
see it.
measurements on it because it could be deceiving.
No, we don't. It was auction,
Okay.
but that's what he was told, right?
I
Yeah,
think they said it's one of those big stink bugs.
yeah. But if you look at the picture, what's it on the rack that it's on? I believe those racks are at least, I think they're 6 foot wide. So it's going to be decent. It's going to be decent size, I believe.
Excited.
So, all right.
What we need for the sleigh is,
Reindeer?
Rudolph.
Rude.
well, so some decorative reindeer for the front. For
I
pictures.
might be able to help out on that. Century 21 Elmont may own a couple of golden light up reindeer.
Yes.
Have they been for sale on Facebook
They have
Marketplace
been.
forever?
We were trying to put it back towards our float fund because we're not going to use them anymore. But I mean, I could be persuaded to just bring them on up to the fountain park.
Please.
Please do, because
Yeah, if they don't
hopefully
flash,
then
we
they, won't show up on my Facebook feed every 3 days. Because for some reason they do.
Can't help that.
Old business, we don't have anything listed. Any public comments on non-agenda items? Yes.
So first,
What's your
Introduce
name, sir?
yourself.
Pete Feldman, you guys know me. I don't know how much you've heard about the issues in your district with the one parking lot. I know it's
Oh,
private.
We've
I know it's
heard.
going crazy.
Yeah.
I was trapped in that parking lot today because of traffic pattern. I've complained to the U.S. Postal Service about it because that is their building. It is a federal, supposed to have access to the public. Encourage anybody else who has the same issue to complain to the post office about it. They lease that to a federal agency. That federal agency says that we have access to their facility certain hours of the day. So you can't be getting yelled at to go get your mail.
And the person that leases that is the same person who put the parking blocks up, correct? That's my understanding.
Yep.
Okay.
Second, that cover is going to be about 300 pounds
Yeah.
with eighth inch plate.
Okay.
So
We have to
don't
see
know how
what-
heavy the current one is.
Right. I don't either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's all I've got.
Thank you.
And to that point, at Village Council meeting, I understand David made a comment, got the fire marshal involved, sent legal notice to the business owner. That was back before it was just parking cones, not now it's cement blocks, but that's my understanding was where it last stood, correct?
Manager is engaged with Mr. Becker, which is always a joy. And he did a little bit of his own research, in fact, cited a Michigan statute that what Becker was doing is violating Michigan law, number one, and then sent the issue to our village attorney to develop the legal argument and confront Mr. Beck with this. This has been a back and forth thing with him. It's open, it's not open. It's open, it's not open. Goes with the personality. But I anticipate we are going to be taking him on legally. And so I don't know whether we'll have an opinion from our village attorney at our next council meeting, but I would expect so.
All right.
So, yeah, it has to be addressed.
So in the meantime, if you have a PO box there, complain.
Very difficult to get in and out.
It's actually a complaint of postal workers that went into the post office. Postmaster wrote that, they can't get their cards all the time to the post office boxes because the cards are parked there and they have to move that big cart around the parking shop.
Does that fall under tampering with U.S. mail?
So she said the cards there, their concern is they don't want one in the car.
Right.
Yeah.
So the complaint needs to be made to the postmaster.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Thank
No,
you.
Thank you.
Starters.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely been a hot topic. So, any other non-agenda item? Board questions, comments? I think you brought up something you wanted to discuss.
Yeah, I follow Oxford's DDA and Romeo. And I'd like to propose expanding our Facebook page to reposting the businesses, what they have going on, events, just pictures, visits, just similar to what they're doing, because I think that's a good step in developing the businesses, helping to market.
Okay.
So just a few more posts.
Good idea. Any other board comments?
I had a reminiscent thought. I believe, was it last year that we had a discussion about potentially emulating Rochester at Christmas time, where all the businesses all had lights. We
Mhm.
discussed that at one point, and it sounded like a terrific idea. I mean, I don't know how feasible it is, but I don't know that we should just let go of that idea.
So we're not letting go of it, but
Okay.
because of the influx of facade grant applications this year, we're already more than double our budget, right? So we decided to maybe put that on the back burner till next year, because we are way over budget on that.
Allocated
But
money.
we don't want to not give those out, right?
Right.
And it's a busy year for our town, which is awesome.
Yeah, the alternative, and I don't know how feasible it is, public-private partnership where businesses put some money into lighting up their own building.
Right. Well, and that was part of the discussion, was if we called it like the Christmas light facade grant was what we were going to call it. And it was going to be, we were going to pay a portion of the upfront cost of installation for their first year. And then maybe less every year thereafter for restringing the lights, but it would amount to a lot still for this year. So
I believe like just the one building, quote, if I'm wrong, was well over $5,000.
it's not cheap for the
Mhm.
initial installation, because they have to put all those little lag bolts in, and
Correct.
it's a lot the first year.
Correct.
And if, 10 businesses decided to do that this year,
Right.
Yes.
it
Okay.
would
So,
hit us
well, the
hard.
idea is not gone.
No,
No.
the idea is definitely
Okay.
not gone. I
All right.
love
No.
that
We
idea.
definitely still want to encourage all
Yeah.
the businesses to light up.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll
We have-
figure out how to do it. I'll ask my maintenance man.
Right.
Well, you know what string
I'm
lights
gonna
cost?
do
We
it.
got a bill.
Right.
Yeah, the string lights are the cheap part. Most of it's
Yes.
the labor and whatever you've got to do for actually getting, the hooks on there and making it line up right and light right. So,
And maybe with all different color bulbs too.
Right. That doesn't freak me out quite so much. I like when all the businesses are in a different color. I love that.
I did my business, it would be multicolor lights,
Right,
just
and
for the
I would
record.
like that, but I just.
Or blue,
Let's not get.
one big blue, would look like a blueberry. That's a whole nother conversation.
Oh, shoot.
They're healthy.
Well, there's something all right.
Should
Anything
we
else?
Talk about the American Legion,
Oh,
our thought process.
so the American Legion, we, obviously we always get talked about, there's not enough parking, there's not enough this, there's not enough that. We did have a quick conversation on, what would it take, to basically turn the American Legion into a parking lot. They are looking for 150. I got rough ballparks of about another 50 grand to take it down. And then you're looking at probably another 40 to 50 to asphalt it all. So you're looking at 250-ish to turn it into a parking lot, which I don't feel that's something feasible we could tackle. I mean, but our thought was in the conversation is we don't want to not exhaust all ideas because parking is an issue around here. It's not growing on trees. But that's something for the board to digest, or maybe something to do in partnership with the village because it affects the village. I don't know, but that's where that now. Obviously, asking 150 and getting 150 are two different things. But you're still going to have probably 100 grand between demo and redoing the parking lot.
Might be able to have a talk with our new guy in town.
Who? Oh, the new owner.
2 buildings, yeah.
Okay, well,
Somebody with deep pockets.
Right.
well, and as more businesses are coming in, we're going to need more room. So, and that's something, at least as a DDA, if we hear stuff or see stuff or buildings come available, I think everyone, we should explore the option to say, what would it take? So,
It'll be on the table.
yeah,
I'll make a note.
yeah.
Okay.
So just so everybody knows, we've talked about that. Anything else for board discussion? No. All right. Well, and that note, let's adjourn the meeting at 8:12. Thank you all. You guys need stuff signed for school? Bring it on up.
You want to volunteer for Holly?